Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Coleman Report Live, May 9th edition. We have John Riosti, American Banker reporter, and Lance Sexton. I am Joseph Coleman. Bob is out today, but we have plenty of support and expertise on the panel. So, John, let's get into the big news that came out Friday that EIDL is no longer accepting applications. There's some movement on the Hill. What's going on with the Appropriations Committee? Have you heard anything about this?
Yes, I don't follow EIDL as closely as PPP, but I'm still I still follow it. And one just point to clarify or emphasize: these aren't new applications we're talking about. Obviously, those ceased a while back. These are appeals and rehearings, and I guess they're obviously discussions about applications that have been filed, decisions that were made, and the borrower obviously would like, I guess, appeal is a good word. They would like the decision to be changed. The agency had said they would continue accepting applications for these rehearings, these appeals, etc., through Friday, which was May 6th. But then they a day before, on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, they celebrated the holiday by pulling the rug out from that announcement, saying that there was no more funding, so there was no point in accepting any applications that hadn't already been submitted. I don't know how many obviously people were waiting till the last minute or had planned to file applications, but I'm sure there were a lot, and I'm sure there was a lot of heartburn, about that decision. Certainly, there was some heartburn in the Senate. They want the agency to rethink that, not because they want them to, beat their head against a stone wall and accept these applications because there's no money, but because they say there are pools of money that can transfer, that they can move, and that they have the authority to move. They would like that to happen. They would like, the Senate would like, the agency to go back and accept as many or act on as many of these applications as possible.
Excellent. Go ahead, Lance.
One of the things I've heard, guys, I actually have a small business that I'm aware of that I've worked with and around since the mid-'80s. 1980. So they've been around for a long time. They had applied for an EIDL loan, for whatever reason, had not gotten a positive decision in funding, and they had appealed. And they were one of the deals that, as of Cinco de Mayo, they were told they were out of luck. So hopefully they'll figure out how to reactivate and fund the loans that are at least in process.
Yes.
The SBA Office of Advocacy came out with a jobs report, and we've heard it so many times over the years that 2/3 of all new jobs are created by small business, and I think this just reiterates there's some excellent data that they've released. John, what have you seen with the rebound with employment, and why is SBA coming out with these stats right now?
Well, I think, there was a very good employment report that was just put out last week, and I think the net job gain was 482,000. So that's obviously a very good report and very good news for the Biden administration. But, it seems to me what's more interesting than just these overall reports, which lump together everything, the entire economy, is what's happening in small business creation. And they're talking about, people all over are talking about a boom in the number of small businesses that are being created. And I guess, the number that's been talked about is in recent months, we're talking, I can't remember the time frame, so I apologize for that. But in let's say within 2 years, the last 2 years, 5.4 million new businesses. Obviously, a lot of businesses were lost during the pandemic, but people are bouncing back. I hope a lot of the people that lost businesses are reflected in that number. But 5.4 million new businesses, it's enormous. And if those take off, a substantial number of those take off, we could be talking about big job gains, at least job gains produced by small business, for quite a while.
Yeah, I think the thing that's so odd in the economy right now, John, and you might help me with this, is, we've got job gains. We have new businesses being created. We have relatively non-existent unemployment, yet we're talking about a recession right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. John, give us a little update. What are you working on? I know you've been covering individual banks, but give us a teaser of what's coming out this week and what you've been reporting on.
Well, what I've been reporting on, I like to report on, what individual lenders are doing, individual banks. Just three things. One, Newtek is getting closer to becoming a bank, and that, in a way, people think, well, that's wonderful for them, their organizational structure, but they've been a big SBA lender. They will continue to be a big SBA lender. So, but they're hoping to leverage that change in organizational structure to become an even bigger SBA lender. And they're just about the biggest already now, so that bears watching. Number two, there's a bank in. It's interesting. I have to learn more about this bank, but it's headquartered in Tampa, Florida. It's chartered in Texas, American Momentum Bank, and they just announced today they hired a veteran sort of SBA. Well, he's gonna be doing credit, managing the credit side of their operation. His name is Mark Urbaniak, and I hope I remember that because I'm going by memory. But his hire is part of a much wider expansion they plan for their SBA operation, which has been growing nicely over the past 5 or 6 years. They believe, per the press release, that they will do about $62 million in 7(a) lending this year. But what they plan to do and why they hired, Urbaniak and why they plan to hire 2 business development officers this year and 6 more over the next 2 is to become a nationwide lender. So that's big news. And I know they're probably discussing this right now at Atlantic Union. It's their investor day, but they're, I was reading over the materials, and they're going to talk about how they plan to expand in SBA Express lending. And we were talking about that before we came on today. And, program-wide, the numbers look good there. They're up slightly from last year, but those numbers were up significantly over 2020. And they're beginning to approach the levels of, say, fiscal 2017 and 18. Things were very good for SBA Express. So, so that's kind of what's happening just here and there.
Well,
Good. Yeah. Go ahead, Lance.
Well, 2 things, John. It's crazy how many new banks and are coming to the SBA side of the house and saying, we want to do this. And not just that, but existing SBA lenders who may have participated in the program, but all of a sudden are jumping in on a deeper level. SBA lending is a great product. It provides a bank a great opportunity for return on equity, and people are recognizing that.
And it gives you flexibility because in the press release, American Momentum talked about boosting their loan book with SBA loans. But obviously, you can do that, and you can choose to sell them for gain on sale revenue.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Very flexible.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. SBA lending is in high demand. This is our compensation report. I think we're finishing it this week. Anybody that participated in that survey will get their copies soon. Lance, you're talking about closing on the 18th. Give us a little preview of what you're going to be talking about.
Well, I'm going to give you a snip on the previous slide. You were talking about high demand. Speaking of high demand, SBA skilled employees right now are in high demand. So I would be surprised if almost every position on this chart has not had increased compensation from the previous year. We are going to be doing a webinar in a week. We're going to talk about some of the things that you need to consider for a proper SBA closing. Guys, we can underwrite and approve loans all day long, but if we don't close them properly, then the guarantee will not be good. And the only reason we fight through the SBA program is we depend on that guarantee if we get down the road and the borrower does not perform. So it's important to take into consideration those important areas of a proper SBA close, and we're going to talk about them and hopefully give you some I'm sorry, Bob corrected me the other day. He said don't use the word hopefully. We will give you some best practices to use for a proper SBA close.
Excellent. Yeah, these are just a couple other products. You can order our books on Amazon, and you can participate in our online training. So, John, thank you very much for your reporting. Have a good week. Lance, same thing. And we'll see you guys soon for Coleman Report Live. Thank you for attending. This
Excellent.
concludes today's webinar. Thank you.